Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. Do not dare swipe away from this screen right now. The algorithm did not bring you here by accident. Heaven intercepted your feed today because what I am about to expose was decreed in the highest courts of heaven. You are standing at a dangerous intersection and you need to pay attention right now. You have been carrying a quiet heaviness in your chest for weeks. It feels like your life is no longer under your control. You thought you were losing your mind or falling apart. And every morning when you wake up, that pressure is already sitting on your heart before you even open your eyes. But I am here to reframe your reality today. God has officially placed his seal upon you, and he has declared over your destiny that your life belongs to him. The enemy is working overtime this week to keep you distracted. He knows that if you hear the 5 signs I am revealing today, his hold over your family will be broken forever. You must lock your attention right now and anchor your spirit to my voice. Stay until the very last second of this message, because if you leave now, you risk walking back onto the battlefield without your divine armor. Let us talk about that deep exhaustion sitting in your bones. It is the kind of tired that sleep cannot fix, no matter how many hours you rest. You wake up in the morning and your body feels heavy before you even step out of bed. You force yourself to smile for the people around you while your soul feels completely drained. Stop calling this clinical fatigue or laziness, because it is something much deeper. Your spirit has been working overtime in the unseen realm to shield the people you love. You carry the mantle of a watchman, and that means your energy is constantly absorbing the spiritual warfare around you. God allowed you to feel this fatigue so you would stop relying on your own strength. And when he claims ownership over your life, he strips away your human stamina so you learn to rely on his supernatural power. Have you noticed how you keep waking up between 3 and 4 a.m. for no clear reason? You open your eyes and your mind is instantly awake while the rest of the world is fast asleep. You look at the clock and wonder why your body refuses to rest during those exact hours. That is not insomnia, and it is not a random sleep disruption. That hour is known in the spiritual realm as the Watchman hour, when the veil between dimensions is thin. Heaven is waking you up because your spirit is needed to intercede and block attacks before the morning comes. Do not let your mind wander right now, because this next sign explains why your home feels so heavy lately. God is calling you to stand guard over your family. The third sign is a sudden and painful isolation from people you used to trust. Friends you have known for years suddenly act distant or walk away without giving you a real explanation. You walk into a room and the atmosphere instantly shifts because your presence makes people uncomfortable. You feel like an outsider even when you are sitting at the dinner table with your own family. This rejection hurts, but it is actually heaven clearing the room for your next season. God isolated you because he cannot allow low frequencies to contaminate the sacred seal he placed on your soul. If you feel this truth burning in your chest right now, type 7 in the comments below to seal your agreement with heaven. Take a deep breath and confirm that you are ready for what he is doing. You have also developed an intense physical allergy to fake smiles and insincere conversations. You can walk into any space and instantly read the room, picking up on hidden motives and secret anger within seconds. People call you overly sensitive, but that is spiritual discernment operating at a higher frequency. You can no longer tolerate surface-level relationships because heaven is recalibrating your inner compass. The final sign is the overwhelming realization that your old life is completely over. Every door you try to open in your own strength slams shut in your face. The things that used to make you happy no longer bring you joy because God has marked you for something bigger. He has declared that your life is his, and he will not allow you to settle for a normal, ordinary existence. Now I want to pause and hold something in front of you before we go deeper into this revelation. Over the past few years, something remarkable was found in research laboratories that most spiritually sensitive people have never been told about. A small group of neuroscientists, led by a doctor in New York, who spent 20 years studying this, discovered something about the human mind that explains why you feel so foggy. They found that the heaviness you carry in your head is not just spiritual, but physical and completely restorable. I am going to tell you what they discovered later in this message. But right now, hold this question in your heart. What if the mental fog you have been fighting is not who you are, but something that was systematically taken from you? Hold on and listen carefully. Do not let your mind wander right now, because this next truth explains why your home feels so heavy lately. You spent months wondering why you feel like an outsider in your own living room. You tried so hard to keep the peace, and even when you poured out all your love and energy to keep everyone happy, you were still left standing alone in the quiet. Stop viewing yourself as a helpless target of your circumstances. You are not rejected because you stumbled, but because heaven is executing a divine quarantine over your spirit. Let us uncover the deep pain of spiritual betrayal that has been keeping you awake at night. There was a specific person in your life whom you trusted with your deepest secrets and highest hopes. You covered their flaws and defended them when everyone else walked away. But suddenly, without any clear warning, they turned their back on you and started spreading lies about your character. You kept asking yourself what you did wrong to deserve such cruelty from someone you loved so much. You thought their departure was a tragedy that ruined your life. You cried tears in private, wondering if you were impossible to love or keep around. And for a long time you carried the heavy burden of guilt, believing that if you had just given more of yourself or stayed quiet, they would have stayed by your side. But here is the profound truth that heaven wants you to understand today. That betrayal was not an unexpected setback, but a necessary spiritual ejection orchestrated by God Himself. The dark energy operating through them could no longer withstand the light of the divine seal on your soul. When God places His seal upon a chosen one, your very presence becomes uncomfortable to anyone living in deception. They did not leave you because you were weak or flawed. They left because the mantle on your shoulders was suffocating the hidden motives in their hearts. Heaven removed them from your table before they could poison the breakthrough God was preparing for you. Do not try to rebuild bridges that God purposefully burned to save your life. Many times you feel tempted to reach out and fix broken relationships out of loneliness. You want to explain yourself and make them understand your pure intentions. But every time you try to go back to those old environments, you feel an immediate heaviness in your chest. That uncomfortable pressure is the Holy Spirit stopping you from stepping back into places where you were meant to be hidden. Let me reframe your wilderness season right now. Society tells you that if you are alone, you must be struggling and lacking social skills or value. Worldly wisdom encourages you to strive endlessly and force connections with anyone willing to give you attention. But heaven operates on a completely different set of rules that defy human logic. Your current isolation is not a prison cell, but a sacred incubator where your spiritual identity is being forged in absolute quiet. When a manufacturer creates a precious weapon, they do not leave it out in the open for everyone to touch. They place it in a secure room to protect its design until the moment of release. God locked you in a quiet season because He needed to insulate your mind from toxic noise and worldly opinions. And while you were weeping over your empty calendar, heaven was building your inner architecture so you could handle the weight of divine authority coming your way. The enemy understands the power of your seal far better than you do right now. He knows that if he can convince you that your isolation is a punishment, you will give up before your alignment is complete. So he sends spiritual distractions, disguised as fake opportunities and counterfeit relationships, to lure you out of hiding. He wants you to settle for temporary comfort, so you forfeit the permanent breakthrough God reserved for your family line. You are not just living a difficult life. You are a generational cycle breaker stationed on the front lines. The patterns of poverty, emotional turmoil, and spiritual delay in your lineage end directly with you. Everyone in your family adjusted to living in survival mode, but you were born with a hunger for true freedom. That is why they call you strange and distant. You do not speak their language of defeat because your soul was coded for kingdom authority. Stand tall and release the need to be validated by people who cannot see your spiritual value. You do not need their permission to walk in the authority that God already purchased for you with His own seal. When God declared that your life belongs to Him, He took full responsibility for your protection and your elevation. Take a deep breath right now and let go of every old grudge holding your heart hostage. Your season of hidden preparation is coming to a powerful end. Stay with me right here. What I am about to share about your spiritual identity will make the enemy furious. Look at the ancient patterns recorded in Scripture. Consider the life of Joseph when his own brothers threw him into a dark pit and sold him into slavery. He spent years in prison for a crime he did not commit, feeling completely forgotten by the world. But every single betrayal was actually divine alignment, positioning him to rule Egypt. Think about Moses standing in the desert of Midian for 40 long years. He went from living as a prince in a grand palace to tending sheep in absolute quiet. He thought his calling was dead, and he believed his best years were buried in the sand. Yet it was in that quiet desert where God appeared in a burning bush to commission him. Your wilderness is not your graveyard, it is your divine launch pad. Look at David tending his father's sheep in the forgotten fields. His own family did not even bother to call him inside when the prophet arrived to choose a king. He was anointed in private, but he had to wait years before he stepped into his public royalty. God anointed you in private long before He allows the world to see your elevation. The seal on your soul is the proof that your time is coming. Heaven works through order, not chaos. When God places His seal upon you, He does not just touch your spirit. He begins to recalibrate your entire mind. Your brain was designed by the Creator to operate in total harmony, with both sides working together in perfect balance. But the modern world feeds you constant noise, conflict, and chaos, designed to split your focus and keep you operating in fear. Top researchers studying human potential discovered something astonishing about how our minds were constructed. Nearly 98% of young children operate with pristine creative brilliance and total balance across their entire mind. But as we grow up, society forces us into survival mode, shutting down our natural synchronization. By the time we reach adulthood, less than 1 in 1,000 people still operate with that original mental clarity. That is why you feel that constant fog in your head when you try to pray or plan your future. It is not because you lack faith, and it is not because you are failing your divine mission. Your physical receiver has simply been disrupted by the overwhelming noise of modern life. When the two sides of your mind are not synchronized, divine inspiration feels like a faint whisper trying to cut through a roaring storm. You were never meant to fight spiritual battles with a clouded and exhausted mind. Hit that like button not for this channel, but so this exact prophetic warning can reach another chosen one who is suffering in silence. When you share light, heaven multiplies that light back into your own home. Take a moment right now to let this truth settle deep into your spirit as we prepare for the biggest revelation. The enemy wants you to believe that your mental fatigue is a permanent flaw in your character. He whispers that you are too broken to fulfill the destiny God spoke over your life. But God never calls the qualified. He qualifies the ones He has chosen and sealed. When God declared that your life belongs to Him, He guaranteed that every broken part of your mind and soul will be fully restored. You are standing at the edge of a massive breakthrough that will rewrite your family timeline. The trials you survived were designed to build the spiritual muscle needed to carry the weight of glory ahead. Every door that slammed shut was heaven protecting you from places that would have compromised your seal. You are about to step out of the shadows and walk in the full authority of your calling. Now, I want to close the loop that has been opened since the beginning of this message. I told you earlier about something discovered in research laboratories that I promised to return to. I waited until this exact moment to bring it forward, because a solution only makes sense once you understand the shape of the problem. What those neuroscientists found in New York is the exact physical key to clearing the mental fog. You now understand the spiritual and physical shape of the warfare you have been enduring. The fog is not your destiny, and the exhaustion is not your permanent state. Heaven has already arranged the resolution, and what is about to be revealed in the next few minutes will break every cycle of confusion in your life forever. Prepare your heart right now, because the climax of your transformation is happening right here. Pay close attention. We are entering a dangerous truth. The enemy tried to hide it for years. Do not look away from this screen right now, and stay with me, because this message is reaching the deepest places inside your soul that you have never been able to put into words. You feel exhausted. You fight an invisible war. You wake up every morning expecting another disaster. And even when God opens a small door of hope, your mind instantly searches for the hidden trap behind it. You fear your own breakthrough. Let us expose the real blocker today. It is not just the enemy outside your door. It is not the people who betrayed you. The greatest weapon used against you is a hidden agreement you made with your own self-doubt in the dark. You agreed with a lie. You felt like an exception to God's promises. You watched others receive their blessings, and while you celebrated for them in public, you secretly believed that your own timeline was permanently broken. You blamed yourself for the pain. You apologized for your power. You forgot how to stand in authority. You shrank yourself down to fit small rooms. Those rooms were never designed to hold your spiritual magnitude. The enemy convinced you that your sensitivity was a defect, but today that lie burns to ashes in the fire of divine truth. You were never too much for the right people. They were simply too small for the anointing you carry. Stop asking for permission to exist in spaces God cleared for you. The season of shrinking your voice to keep fake peace in your family is officially over. Here is the profound declaration sealed in heaven over your life right now. Remember what I promised to reveal to you at the beginning of this encounter. God did not create a master plan first and then force your soul to fit inside its rigid boxes. He created you first, and the divine plan formed directly around your existence. You are not just a regular human. You are a sealed warrior operating in enemy territory. Heaven issued a final decree over your head today. God declared in the presence of every demon fighting you that your life is His. That decree cancels every legal right the enemy claimed over your health and your mind. When God puts His seal upon your soul, He marks your bloodline as off-limits to spiritual destruction. The enemy tried to break your spirit through exhaustion because he saw what happens when you fully awaken. He knows that a sealed chosen one who walks in total clarity is a lethal threat to his dark kingdom. Your gentleness was never your weakness. It was always the foundation of your authority. You were never meant to be tamed by this world, and you were always meant to be trusted by heaven. Take a deep breath right now. Let the heavy armor fall from your tired shoulders. You do not have to fight these exhausting battles in your own human strength anymore. The watchman is allowed to rest while the Creator steps onto the field to fight on your behalf. The cycle of people-pleasing dies today. The fear of abandonment loses its grip on your heart. Your spirit is waking up to the truth right now. Your suffering was not a meaningless punishment. It was the intense heat of the crucible, refining your gold until you shine. Hold this feeling in your heart. Everything is about to click into place. What I am about to show you next will connect something you felt in your own personal experience with something found in a top research laboratory. And that connection is going to explain a physical truth about your life that nothing else has ever been able to put into words. Do not skip this next sentence. It opens the door to the physical resolution you prayed for during those long nights in the wilderness. Let us bring absolute clarity to everything we uncovered in this message so far. You now know why your life was filled with sudden isolation and intense spiritual warfare. It was never a sign of failure, but the physical proof that heaven placed a divine seal upon your soul. You now see what has been happening beneath the surface of your daily struggles. Your exhaustion and mental fog were caused by an unsynchronized mind trying to carry a massive spiritual mantle through modern chaos. And most importantly, you now remember who you truly are when the heavy mask of survival comes off. You are a sealed warrior of light. You are a generational cycle breaker. You are an anchor of hope for your entire family line. The wilderness season did not destroy you because it built your inner architecture for this exact moment. Heaven is providing a physical anchor today to align your mind with the spiritual authority you carry. Stay right here as we unlock the final door to your total restoration. Your season of living under a cloud ends right now. There is a profound connection between the spiritual mantle on your soul and the state of your mind. What you feel in your spirit has a physical address in your brain. You spent years fighting spiritual warfare while your receiver was operating in constant overload. And every time heaven sent a divine instruction, the heavy fog in your head made it difficult to hear his whisper clearly. You are not broken. You were simply operating with a receiver that needed to be restored. Let us speak in plain words about what must happen today. You cannot walk into your season of elevation with an exhausted mind that shuts down under pressure. God is opening unprecedented doors for your bloodline, but you need the mental capacity to govern those blessings. When your mind operates in clarity, you make swift decisions and recognize divine opportunities before they pass you by. It is time to reclaim the original brilliance God placed inside your soul. There is something I promised to return to earlier in this message. I asked you to hold a question about what was taken from you and how specifically it can be returned. In 1981, Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize for his research on the human brain. He discovered that our minds were created with two distinct hemispheres designed to operate in complete harmony. When both sides are synchronized, you experience a state of whole brain activation. Research shows that 98% of young children operate in this synchronized state naturally. That is why children learn rapidly and live without mental fog. But as we grow up, modern stress and constant digital noise force our minds into survival mode, splitting that natural balance. By the time we reach adulthood, less than 1 in 1,000 people still operate with full mental synchronization. Having brain fog is not a spiritual failure, but a physical reality of modern living. A woman from California who works as a nurse in San Diego described what it felt like before she found the solution. She tried every spiritual practice available, but her mind remained cloudy. After 10 days of restoring her receiver, she said a channel that had been blocked for years suddenly opened up wide. A man from Texas described a similar breakthrough after holding his family together for years. His constant brain fog vanished within 2 weeks, allowing him to pray with absolute focus. If you tried soundtracks or binaural audio in the past and felt nothing, Dr. Barone explains why. Single sound waves are incomplete because they fail to address hemisphere synchronization at a whole brain level. A team of neuroscientists led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York spent years refining clinical neuro-sync technology into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. 8 minutes a day with headphones is the entire requirement. They call it the Genius Switch. The Genius Switch is not a meditation app or a simple sound wave product. It is a targeted sequence engineered on Nobel Prize research to reconnect both hemispheres of your mind. The Genius Switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who understands that God prepared not only the promise but the mind that must step into it. It is for the person who is ready to stop treating mental fog as a character flaw and start restoring their God-given receiver. Dr. Barone and his clinical colleagues originally considered pricing this protocol at $500, which is far below the $7,000 required for in-home neurofeedback machines. Clinical sessions at a private office cost $300 an hour. The official list price was set at $49. But to ensure every chosen one can access this tool, the access price on this page was reduced to $39. When you receive the protocol today, you also receive 4 free gifts designed to protect your peace and help you steward your blessings properly. You receive a guided visualization track, a smart grocery guide that exposes 10 common foods causing brain fog, a classic book on spiritual laws over 100 years old, and a habits infographic. Everything is protected by an ironclad 100% money-back guarantee. If your mind does not feel restored, every cent is returned. Every week your synchronization stays disrupted is another week divine blessings pass by a receiver operating below its capacity. What heaven has arranged for you deserves the full, clear version of your mind. Be careful when searching online, because generic tracks carrying similar names lack this clinical neuro-sync technology. The direct page in the description below and in the first pinned comment is the only verified source where Dr. Barone made this available. A physical tool does not replace God, and it does not replace your daily spiritual obedience. But a tool that restores your physical receiver gives the divine revelation God speaks over your life a clear place to land. For the chosen one who felt something stir deep inside when the restored mind was mentioned earlier, that door remains open below. Step through when you feel the confirmation in your spirit, and let your restored clarity carry you into your next season. You have stood in the middle of the fire for a very long time. You carried heavy burdens that were never yours to hold. The heaviness is lifting right now as heaven settles over your spirit. A profound peace is filling the quiet spaces in your mind where anxiety used to live. Take a deep breath and feel the shift happening inside your chest, because your season of suffering is officially over. Now we are going to enter a sacred moment of divine sealing together. I need you to perform a physical act of agreement with heaven. Place your right hand upon your heart right now. Feel your heart beating beneath your palm, and know that every breath you take is a gift from your Creator. Close your eyes for a brief second and anchor your mind to the divine presence surrounding you in this room. Speak these words out loud with me right now if you are in a safe place. I declare that my life belongs to God. I release every heavy burden, every false guilt, and every painful memory from my past into His hands. I break every hidden agreement I made with fear or self-doubt during my darkest nights. And because God placed His divine seal upon my soul, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I declare that every generational curse of poverty, delay, and sickness in my family line dies today. I step out of the shadows of survival and walk into the light of my royal destiny. I am a sealed warrior of light, and my spirit is completely aligned with the frequency of heaven. The enemy can no longer touch my mind or manipulate my emotions, because my life is protected by the Most High. I claim the full restoration of my health, my mind, and my divine purpose. I open my heart to receive the accelerated favor, supernatural abundance, and righteous connections that heaven arranged for my next season. I am no longer a victim of my circumstances, and I stand with authority as a cycle breaker for my bloodline. I seal this declaration in my spirit, and I accept it as done. When you speak these words with conviction, heaven registers your voice in the unseen realm. The decrees written against your destiny are torn to pieces before the throne of God. The spiritual entities that were tormenting your family must pack their bags and flee from your atmosphere. You are walking into tomorrow with a clean slate and a clear mind that fears no evil whatsoever. Notice how the atmosphere in your room feels lighter right now. The heavy cloud that hovered over your head for months has dissolved into nothingness. You no longer need to explain yourself to people who were designed to misunderstand your calling. God cleared your path so you could run your race without the weight of toxic opinions holding you back from your promise. Your waiting season was not wasted time. Every tear you cried in secret was stored in a golden bottle before heaven. God is using your trial to craft an unshakable testimony that will liberate thousands of souls. You survived the wilderness because the power living inside you was always stronger than the storm raging around you. You are stepping into a season of unprecedented public favor. You will look back at this exact day as the moment your entire trajectory shifted. The doors that were closed in your face will be replaced by gates of gold that no human can shut. You do not need to fight for table space anymore because God is preparing a feast for you in the presence of your enemies. Rest your mind tonight, knowing that your future is fully secured in His hands. If this message brought comfort and clarity to your weary spirit today, do not keep this light to yourself. Hit that share button right now and send this prophetic word to another chosen one who is struggling in silence. Your simple act of kindness can be the exact answer to a prayer someone cried out for last night. Together, we are awakening the remnant across the entire world. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all notifications so you do not miss the upcoming decrees scheduled for your breakthrough. Staying connected to this altar ensures that your spirit remains anchored to high frequencies of truth and protection. And if you feel led by the Holy Spirit to support this ministry, you can sow a seed of faith using super thanks below. Type Amen in the comments right now to seal this entire encounter into your physical reality. When you type those 4 letters, you are placing a firm bookmark in the story of your life. You are declaring to the universe that you agree with everything heaven spoke over your destiny today. Walk with your head held high because the King of Kings has claimed your life. Go forth today in absolute peace and unshakable confidence. The battle is already won in the unseen realm, and your physical eyes will soon see the evidence of your miracle. Remember who you are whenever the enemy tries to whisper lies into your mind. You are sealed, you are chosen, and your life belongs to God forever. May His divine peace rest upon you always.